Welcome to the Stakeholder Engagement Navigator Webtool. I'm Dr. Bethany Kwan, a health researcher at the University of Colorado. If you are new to stakeholder engagement in research, you might be wondering what stakeholder engagement is and why it's important for your research. Stakeholder engagement in research refers to the practice of meaningful collaboration with patients and others with an interest in the products of our research. The goal is to ensure research priorities, conduct, and dissemination align with stakeholder needs and perspectives. Stakeholder engagement structures interactions and working relationships with representatives who can speak to a particular stakeholder group's needs and priorities. Stakeholder engagement is ideally bidirectional and longitudinal, which means maintaining ongoing two-way communication across all phases of your research, from planning to conduct to dissemination. When planning research, stakeholders provide valuable insight on priorities and assist with study design by identifying relevant topics, research questions, outcomes, and measures. Implementing research protocols can be an iterative process in which stakeholders can provide real-time guidance and troubleshooting on topics such as recruitment and data collection. When preparing to disseminate research findings, involving stakeholders can help determine the most effective messages and communication strategies to reach intended audiences. Researchers and funders increasingly acknowledge the value of stakeholder engagement, but it can be challenging to know where to begin and what engagement strategies are best suited for a particular project. The Stakeholder Engagement Navigator is a web-based tool developed by the Data Science to Patient Value Initiative's Dissemination, Implementation, Communication, Ethics, and Engagement Working Group. This tool has two primary components. First, there's an education hub with resources and materials to help you learn about general stakeholder engagement principles and approaches. Second, there's an interactive selection tool to explore and discover engagement strategies that best fit the engagement purpose, constraints, and resources available for a particular research project. To access the Education Hub, select the green button on the left-hand side of the homepage. Here, you can access information about a variety of topics related to stakeholder engagement, from basic definitions to details on engagement frameworks and approaches. Back on the homepage, you can launch the selection tool by clicking the blue Find Engagement Strategies button. Before using the tool, there are a few questions to help you think more about the purpose of engaging stakeholders, what constraints are present, and what resources might be available. It can be helpful to think through these questions with your team before using the tool. When you're ready, click Start. The selection tool will first ask during which stage of the research stakeholders will be engaged. If you're looking for different engagement activities specific to each stage, select just one stage at a time. However, you can select more than one stage if you're interested in engagement activities that would be useful over time. The next question asks about your purpose of engagement. It's again better to select only one purpose at a time if you're looking for activities specific to that purpose, or you can make multiple selections. After answering the questions and clicking Next, you will see a pool of engagement strategies. These strategies are those relevant to your selected research stage and engagement purpose. Above the pool of strategies are 3 slider bars that help you further refine the search. Adjustments are based on budget, time with stakeholders in any given interaction, and the total number of interactions with stakeholders. Sliders can specify ranges or a single criterion. Adjusting the sliders changes the strategy's icon size based on whether or not they meet the criteria set by the sliders. The most applicable strategies for your project increase in size. Smaller strategies are less relevant. At any time during this process, you can click on each strategy to read a brief definition, the research stages that strategy can be applied to, and the best suited purposes for a strategy. You can also click for more information, which will take you to a detailed strategy fact sheet. Strategy fact sheets provide additional details, resources needed, step-by-step instructions, and additional resources. The strategy fact sheets can also be accessed from the homepage. If you have questions about terminology, you can check the glossary, accessible from the right-hand menu on the homepage. If you have further questions, contact us from this menu. We hope that this web tool helps you find an appropriate engagement strategy for your research project and encourages learning about and trying new engagement strategies. Thank you for visiting the Stakeholder Engagement Navigator web tool.